sometimes women say, well, I'm going to go to dinner with him, but I don't know if I want to have sex with him, so I'm going to split the meal. Split the price of the meal, because they feel like they're obligated to do more. What you should know, women, is you're not obligated to do anything. He gets the opportunity to spend time with you at a meal. He's paying for the meal. And actually, when he pays for the meal, when he does things for you, that's how he bonds with you. Men bond by making little sacrifices, by saying things and doing things that impress you. And getting to know you is how he will bond with you more, not by you getting to know him. What you want to do is get to know what he can do for you. And that gives you the opportunity to experience a responsiveness to him. It's an appreciation. It's an acceptance. It's an openness. That's femininity. And that's what you want to give to a man, is the opportunity to be received by you.
There's so much there that I'd love to highlight. Just a couple of things that really stood out for me, John, and thank you so much for speaking that so clearly. One thing that really stood out for me as you were speaking is that part of this, for women to be successful in allowing that space for a man to step up, so to speak, is for her to be really centered and grounded in her own value as a woman, and to recognize her own value as a woman. Because what I've experienced in my own life and seen happen with many women is when we're not really grounded in our own value and in our own radiance, then we sometimes feel like we have to give more or give too much, too fast, too soon in order to attract or keep a man's attention. And I've even coined this phenomenon as something I call unholy giving, because it typically, unlike giving that is beneficial to both, it typically makes the woman feel depleted or perhaps even used. And then a man is not really appreciative of what's been given because it's been given too much, too fast, too soon, before he's had that chance to step up and win her affection or her attention or her love. And so those are a couple of things that really stood out for me. And I even have called this space that you're talking about sacred space. There's in the like in the UK, for example, when you go to get on the trains, there's the signs everywhere that say mind the gap. And I always want to say that to women in regards to their love lives. Mind that gap. Be aware of that gap and don't automatically step into it, or you're going to fall off the platform, so to speak.
I love that. That is fantastic. Those are great points.
Well, yeah, thank you. Those were just highlights on some of the things that you brought out. So thank you for bringing that out. So, John, I know...
I'd like to talk more about mind the gap. I think that's a brilliant image for people to have. You get to that gap, you fall in. Now, what's the gap? It's this distance between you and this guy, and it's a distance that he can cross. If he can't cross the distance, he's not going to bond with you. That's how men bond. And women, when you cross the gap, he doesn't bond with you. He pulls away. It produces, on a hormonal level, it's basically going to produce more oxytocin. See, whenever I'm receiving, my estrogen goes up, my oxytocin goes up, and I go, oh, that feels really good. I like that. What else can you do for me? And my testosterone goes down. I go into kind of a passive mode. And you don't want a guy to go into the passive mode. And part of minding the gap as well is something that my daughter Lauren at MarsVenus.com, she has lots of blogs, and I learn a lot. She's really, on a certain level, my mentor for younger people, in their 40s and 50s, 30s, whatever. She's like, talks about the importance of me time, which is time for women to find that fulfillment within themselves. So they're not feeling so needy on a guy. I'm telling you, we guys have extra nose, which can smell desperation and neediness, your eagerness. And whether we're conscious of it or not, it pushes our testosterone down. And we kind of go, oh, okay, I don't have to do much here. And, of course, the big issue for women who are dating and you got a guy is how to get him to commit. Well, the more you run after him and try to please him to get him to commit, the more he's like, okay, I'm getting paid for nothing here. Well, who can, I'll just cruise. So there's a whole dynamic there of giving a man the confidence what you give him and your responsiveness as you give him, because I'm not saying don't give to a man. I'm saying what you give is a kind of love that empowers him to feel confident that he can make you happy. It's kind of a long sentence, but basically when you're appreciative of what a man does, when you're appreciative of what he does for you, that gives him confidence that he can do more for you. But when he doesn't have to do much for you and he gets all this love, which you brilliantly just said, when you give him a lot and he didn't do much for it, actually it loses his sense of bonding. It's like you would think he would think, oh, this is such an easy job, I don't want to do it. No, he really has to feel I made something happen. You know, part of the way we are as men, and you know, my book Conscious Men, it's really a whole exploration for men, but also women to understand men, is to go deeply into these qualities of masculinity. And the number one quality of masculinity is to feel successful. That's what we want. And, you know, you can just have a guy watching a football game, and if his team wins, his testosterone is off the chart. Sex is going to be great that night. If the team loses, it's going to go down. It's success because he's identifying with his team. But the idea here is that the more successful a man feels, the more he will bond with her. And it's her responsiveness to him that is what makes him feel successful. And so the responsiveness would be, there's so many little things you can do. You know, women, just as you know, the little things a man could do, like affection and compliments and planning things and being interested and asking questions of you. Those are little things that a man can do that make a woman feel special and important, you know, complimenting her and so forth. Unfortunately, most men don't know those skills, that the little things make a big difference. But I'm turning it around now, and most women don't know the little things that make a man bond with you. And it's these little messages again, that say he's successful.